Welcome back. Taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Also taking your tweets at Josh Taylor HD, talking about the big story of the day, which is the Steelers winning in Kansas City. They now improved to 4-2 on the season. And just when you thought a road win against a good team, the last remaining undefeated team in the league, would give you a feeling of goodwill and probably propel you going into next week, knowing you got to come back and face Cincinnati in the division game and give you some momentum, and the ink can't even dry before there's more drama. NFL Network, Ian Rappaport has reported that Martavis Bryant has requested a trade from the Steelers. According to the report, apparently his teammates and coaches know that he's unhappy, so that's something that's kind of hanging out there now. It seems like there's something every week that's hanging there on the outside, just the elephant in the room. And just when you thought you put one to the side after last week's game, now you got another one sitting here with reports of Martavis Bryant wanting to be traded. Now, the thing we don't know yet is we don't know how deep this goes. Obviously, we don't know who Ian Rappaport's sources are. And to be totally frank, you can't always believe every report you've heard. Same reporter had reported that Ben Roethlisberger had trade requests a couple years ago. That turned out to maybe not be so true. So you can't take it all seriously. Sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt, but that is something that sticks out. That's something that's serious enough to be a distraction, and it's something that's serious enough that I think people will start asking questions about until it's addressed one way or another. So that's something that's going to continue to stick out. Let's start out on Twitter. We'll go with Guillermo, who says, we thought the Steelers would be done with distractions. Now Martavis Bryant. The Steelers should sell high on this guy for a pick. Now, the interesting part with all of it with him is that knowing everything that happened, his suspension over the past year, everything with the league substance abuse policy, there is kind of a cloud that hangs over any team that would trade for him. So his value is actually pretty low because the next time he gets tested positive, he's going to have to sit out again. So how much value does a guy like Martavis Bryant really have? You're going to have to go on a lot of blind faith that he's going to, A, produce, and B, stay out of trouble. So that might be too much for some teams, a really bid too high for. So even if you're looking for a draft pick for him, your best bet might be what, fourth, fifth round? You might not get a lot of value for a guy like Martavis Bryant. So it does kind of muddy those waters if you really are discussing trade. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's start with Brad in Pittsburgh. Brad, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, a lot of things going on today, man.
Indeed.
Great win today, but there's a lot of drama queens up in Pittsburgh, and I think AB's getting too much attention and getting everybody mad. But off of that, I want to talk about the 3-2s, the 3-2s, and the 3-2s we be getting ourselves into, and we can't get a first down. You know what I mean? And I think that has to change. That seems like a goal line decision that Tomlin has to address to his players. What you say?
I think it starts with, and thanks for the call, I think it starts with what the offensive coordinator's calling, because that's a big part of it. I think it comes down to what the quarterback is calling, because he has that leeway also. Remember, that was discussed last year, how he has the freedom to change plays when they get into that position. If you remember, during practice, during training camp, they always work on that 7 shots inside the 5-yard line. They do it every single practice, and they're still doing it during the course of the season. This is something that they really work on, and they do it at length. So all that stuff comes into play. The preparation is there. The question is, what are they calling at the right times? What are they calling at the wrong times? And why isn't it working? I think that's what it really comes down to. I would have liked to see a first down run right there inside the red zone, even if it is for show. The worst case that happens that they did it before, earlier in the game in the second quarter, and it worked, running the ball from that deep in. So if it worked the first time, just do it the second time for the sake of knowing that it worked the first time. Maybe sometimes it really is that simple. Apparently it wasn't that simple, and apparently it didn't work out. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Ken in Clearfield. Ken, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Yeah, hi, Josh. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Great to see the Steelers play a great defensive game today. But
Absolutely.
Kansas City still had a chance in the last drive they had, and it was unbelievable that Pittsburgh, Brett Roethlisberger threw that ball, it went right through the defender's hands. Antonio Brown caught it, made a great play. One-handed play, great play. And also what I want to comment on, what about karma? How about the Minnesota Vikings? Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Minnesota has the 3 best players in the NFL go down with injury, and now that NFC North is theirs. Thank you.
I wouldn't call that karma for the Vikings because that'd have to mean that they're doing something right, and they don't have their quarterback. Actually, they don't have two of their quarterbacks because no Teddy Bridgewater, no Sam Bradford. So I don't know if that's really karma for the Vikings. It might be some good fortune. But, yeah, no Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, no Dalvin Cook. That's true. You still got Detroit to deal with. Matthew Stafford still there. I don't know if the North is necessarily a decided situation for the Vikings, but it definitely gives them a leg up. And Green Bay not having Aaron Rodgers, I mean, season pretty much almost over, all but over in that particular regard. They're going to have to rely on Brett Hundley. I don't know how well he'll get with how much they'll get out of him or how well they'll do, but that is the reality of it all. On your comment about the play in the fourth quarter, just imagine if that play does not happen. Just imagine if that bad throw that I think on Ben Roethlisberger's part doesn't turn into a fortuitous situation where Antonio Brown doesn't make a ridiculous play, one of the most ridiculous we've seen him make in his career, and turn that into a touchdown. Maybe the game doesn't have the outcome that we expect it to. Maybe this game is a loss instead of a win, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. Let's go back to Twitter before we take a break here. We have Troy who says a great defense is an offense that can run 37 times for almost 200 yards, but they can't score when they're never on the field. To your point, that's something I talked about earlier this morning on 93.7 The Fan, 7 to 10 Sunday mornings. One of the things I mentioned was if the Steelers could set their run game up and do the same thing they did in Baltimore, put long drives together, get Le'Veon Bell going, get some high rushing totals, move the chains, get some first down, excuse me, move the chains to get some first downs, it would set up opportunities for them to have long drives and keep the ball out of Kansas City's hands. And they did that for a lot of the first half. The final numbers, they had the ball for 36 minutes, and Kansas City only had it for 23. So they had it for about almost two-thirds of the time that they would need to have the ball in the game in time of possession. So they did accomplish that. If you finish one or two drives with a touchdown instead of a field goal, it's probably a much different ball game, and we're talking about this a lot differently after the fact. In the meantime, we got to take a break. We're answering more phone calls and more tweets when we come back. Stick around.